Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel or come talk with us on our Discord server. So today, I want to talk about all my theories about the miraculous masks and why Marinette and Adrien can't recognize each other or anyone else can't recognize them either. I know that this is like a popular, I guess, trope in some things, like Sailor Moon, like why don't they recognize all the girls when they're in their costume, or like Shadow Mask? Tuxedo Mask, that's his name. I never watched Sailor Moon as a kid, so I don't really know, but you know, a lot of people are like, hey, like this is dumb, why can't they recognize each other? And like, so part of me is like, it's a kid show, you know, whatever, right? Like the logic isn't all there, but then there's like some interesting like magical like ideas and stuff like that, you know what I mean? That actually makes sense. It's not just, oh, it's magic, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I kind of want to go over all of my ideas for some different theories, so that's what we are doing today, because I have at least 3 or 4, I think, but if you guys, like, have more that I don't mention in this video, like, open up my mind, like, tell me your ideas, I want to know, I want to know. And the first thing that I thought of was that it's possible that the costumes, like, basically bend to the will of whoever's wearing them in terms of cosmetics, right? Like, for example, past Ladybug holders look super different from Marinette, right? And I think this could be because the costume basically becomes whatever is in mind, right? Like, for example, past Ladybug holders, right, have a more traditional look, like Marinette, Adrien, all the other heroes live in a time where this is basically a standard superhero outfit, right? Like, if we think of, like, Spider-Man, I mean, Deadpool's not very family-friendly in terms of, you know, being a superhero, but you know what I mean? Like, Spider-Man, Deadpool, like, it's possible that the costume designs are based off of who's wearing them and their idea of what a superhero looks like, which is why most of the Miraculous holders, like, in the past, had traditional outfits. So obviously, you know, you see more traditional Chinese outfits for Ladybug and the cat Miraculous and the bee Miraculous. You also see a Ladybug, French Musketeer, I think, and, like, the Amazonian Queen, and, like, the Japanese Assassin, so, among others, right? And so, it seems like it's based off of that person's idea of, you know, what a superhero looks like. So, obviously, for the time period, a French Musketeer would be a hero, or, like, a knight, or a Japanese assassin, you know what I mean? Like, all of the costumes are sort of based off of the idea of what a hero would be at that period of time, and what maybe the wearer has in mind for being a hero. This could also be why, like, Nino looks more like a Ninja Turtle, like, compared to Chloe and Alia. Like, my sort of headcanon for this is Chloe is more or less copying Marinette's suit, right? Like, she wants to be exactly like Ladybug, and so she's like, I want Ladybug's suit, but Queen Bee, you know what I mean? Whereas Alia is sort of going for a more Cat Noir look, where, you know, she has the ears and the tail and all that stuff. And so if this is true, like, that the cosmetics in terms of, you know, the costume reflect what they believe a superhero to be, I would make the argument that it's possible that the masks are also a part of that. Like, for example, Marinette doesn't want anyone to know her identity, and so the mask wills itself, you know, so people don't recognize her. So basically, the mask goes into, like, high gear mode, like, no one can recognize us, you know what I mean? Whereas Adrien may be a bit more relaxed. He wants Ladybug to know who he is anyway, and so maybe his mask is a bit weaker, you know what I mean, in terms of powers or whatever. So basically, it's suiting itself for the wearer. And so maybe in the past, like, past Miraculous holders didn't care if people knew their identity or not, and so maybe, like, the mask wasn't really a part of it, but because Marinette cares a lot, the mask is almost, like, you know, shielding her, like, from other people, whereas Adrien's like, you know what I mean? Obviously, he wants it a little secret, but not, like, super secret, you know what I'm saying? And so maybe, you know, that's why his mask may be a bit weaker, and that's why Alia, you know, I remember her saying, like, hey, like, Adrien kind of looks like Cat Noir, you know? Whereas, you know, she doesn't think that Marinette looks like anybody. She doesn't think that Marinette looks like Ladybug, when arguably Marinette should be the most recognizable, right? In terms of her, you know, her hair and all that stuff, right? And, you know, if Adrien is a bit more lax, you know, with people finding out who he is, like, the possibility is there, you know what I mean? And with this theory, it could explain why Adrien can't recognize Marinette, right? And why the other characters have compared Cat Noir to Adrien, right? Like, maybe the reason Marinette can't tell, like, between them is because, you know, because of that, you could say, right? And, like, I also kind of have the theory that Marinette, like, in her heart, almost doesn't want to believe that Cat Noir is Adrian. Like, but that's, like, a whole other thing. But speaking of that, that's my other theory. So, my other theory is this is all psychological. Like, nothing is really going on with the masks to hide their identities. But with Adrian and Marinette, it's more like, especially with Marinette, right? I feel like she doesn't want Adrian to be Cat Noir, right? You know what I mean? Like, they talk about that before, like, in the show almost, like, oh, like, a world without Adrian, you know what I mean? Like, they talk about that, and so I feel like that, you know, because that's something that is talked about in the show, like, ugh, Adrian could never be like that Cat Noir, you know what I mean? Like, she kind of says it like that, and so I feel like she's almost avoiding the possibility and is refusing to recognize him, right? And maybe as he grows closer to Marinette, he thinks that her being Ladybug wouldn't be such a bad thing and starts to see him more in her, right? And so I think that's kind of like an explanation why nobody's figured them out right away, right? Like, it's a psychological thing where, like, Adrian now may be suspicious of Ladybug because he doesn't think it's so bad if, you know, Marinette would be Ladybug. Like, he's starting to see that in her, whereas Marinette outright refuses, and so her brain's like, nope. Like, it's basically hiding in plain sight when you sort of think about it, right? And here's the other thing. So Adrian has a totally different hairstyle and eyes and stuff when he's transformed. And, you know, since Ladybug was basically the only superhero around, I feel like that there was an expectation that Ladybug's civilian form would look totally different from his superhero form because he looks totally different in his superhero form, if that makes sense. So basically what I'm saying is that Adrian expected Marinette's costume to be like his, where out of their costumes they look very different. You know what I mean? Whereas Marinette, who looks very similar in her costume, you know, expects that Cat Noir will basically just look like her but without the mask. So she's searching for someone who looks exactly like Cat Noir out of the suit, and Adrian doesn't necessarily fit that description because, like, their hair's different, the eyes are different, like, stuff like that, right? Whereas Adrian is expecting Marinette to look totally different, and so that's why maybe he, you know, doesn't expect Marinette, because even though they look the same, he'll be like, oh no, but, you know, Ladybug needs to look different out of her costume, because I look different out of my costumes, whereas Marinette says, no, Cat Noir needs to look the same out of his costume, because I look the same out of my costume, right? The simplest mask theory is honestly that it's magic. Like, that's why people don't recognize Ladybug or Cat Noir despite trying to. Like, it's magical in hiding their identities, right? And we can make this more interesting, though. It doesn't need to just be plain magic, but I had an idea of, like, what if Ladybug and Cat Noir look different to everyone else? Like, for example, like, what if it's sort of magic in the sense that it's almost like an illusion? Like, so instead of Marinette having blue hair, her hair is blonde. Or instead of her having her hair in pigtails, her hair is down. Like, the reason why we see Ladybug and Cat Noir as they are, and all of the statues and all that stuff showing them as they are, or the paintings, I should say, because that has the color part and whatnot, is because, like, we as the viewer know that it's them. But what if to everyone else, right, Ladybug and Cat Noir have slightly different appearances, or vastly different appearances, and the slight different appearances would just sort of cause confusion, where looking totally different would protect their identities. So I think that would be something, like, interesting to show in the actual, show, but like I said, because we know what they look like, they don't look any different to us, but that could be something explained later, where if Alia is talking to Ladybug, Ladybug looks different, if Chloe is talking to Ladybug, Ladybug looks different, and so I could see them not doing that until later seasons, so we as the viewer don't get confused, but we're already so established with Adrian and Marinette and Ladybug and Cat Noir that we'd be able to figure something like that out. So basically what I'm saying is this may be the possibility, but they just haven't shown it yet, because they wanted people to get comfortable with the characters first. Because could you imagine if they did that the first episode? Like, that would be so confusing. Out of all of these, I personally like my first theory better, that the costume is bending to the will of the user or the wearer, right? And so, you know, the costume is bending to the will of Marinette and Adrian, making Marinette impossible to recognize because that's what she wants, right? And Adrian is sort of letting up a bit and could be recognized if people just put it together. And, like, this could come out of, again, Adrian's desire you know, for Ladybug to know who he is, and Marinette's desire to keep their identities hidden. And it would also make sense for the costumes to do this, because as I mentioned, throughout history, it seems, every Ladybug and every Cat Noir and every Miraculous holder has had the same weapon, but very different fashion, because they are wearing something that they believe was sort of the popular idea of a hero, or the popular idea of a, I guess a superhero now, right? Because in this century, you would see them as superheroes like Spider-Man and Superman, like sort of all that stuff, Batman, right? But in the past, a hero would be, again, like a knight, a musketeer, a ninja, an assassin, like stuff like, maybe not an assassin, it sort of depends on that one. But if the rest of the costume can change, like maybe if Marinette had a different idea of what it meant to be a hero, her costume would be different. And like, that's a super interesting thought for me. I don't know why. But like I said, okay, Nino looks like a ninja turtle. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, Nino may look so different from everyone else because he didn't grow up on the Spider-Mans and the Deadpools. Because like Marinette, I feel like she was like, I want to look like Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And, you know, Ladybug, so it's a connect, you know, Spider-Man, Ladybug, like they're both bugs, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, Cat Noir and Alia, they're kind of more in the vein of, I guess, like, the animal superheroes, so, like, Batman, kinda, right? But I'm saying, like, what if Nino was like, no, I don't care about Superman, I don't care about Batman, I want to be a Ninja Turtle, and that's why he looks like that. Sorry, guys, that's ridiculous. Anyway, so if you guys enjoyed this video, remember that you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel. Come talk with us more. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you guys will tell me your theories. I may do a part 2 to this video if there's enough, because I could only think of this. But, like, the fandom is so creative with their theories. I'm sure that we can find, like, a couple more, at least. Like, 4 more, at least. I'm sure there's at least 4 more. But, yeah. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Hello everybody, it is Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember that you guys should become $10 patrons over on Patreon, or any level of patrons, as $10 patrons get to request videos that we get to do. Our $5 patrons get early access to basically all of the content that we put out, among other rewards, and our $1 patrons get access to our Discord server. So if any of this interests you, you guys should check it out. Bye guys.